Welcome to the Awesome Games Done Quick 2025 video submission of mine for the any percent category of Frogger 2 for the Game Boy Color. The any percent category of this game involves Frogger traversing through 32 different levels, spanning 5 different worlds in order to rescue each and every single one of the baby frogs. For those of you who are watching this video submission, I'll be providing a few different runs that I performed of this game throughout the past year in 2024. These runs will be of varying different abilities to demonstrate what the run looks like at many different levels and performances of what is expected in the time estimate. This may include runs that were fairly well executed or have been done near perfection. It will also include runs that did not go so well, but also included flashes of brilliance, just to demonstrate what the game looks like and to give an expectation of what the game will be like in this category. In addition to this, these runs will provide various different examples of what my commentary will look like. Thank you for your consideration. It's going to be a lot of fun. Everything is going to happen very quickly, very fast. That's kind of how the 80% category operates. Okay, timer's working. I'm not going to play everything perfectly. It's pretty hard to play everything perfectly when you're playing 80% or just this game in general without going through sheer attempts. So like this first attempt is just going to be whatever it is going to be, and we'll deal with what happens later. So that being said, I'd like to get the run started. As long as we get past level 1, this will be the one. So let's see what happens. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go. Okay, we gotta run. I say that a little bit off the rhythm, but that's fine. I say that we have ourselves a run after level 1 because that is notorious for being a run killer. One thing you will notice as I am playing through this game is that I'm using intentional rhythms. Also, Frogger can walk on water, but just that one tile aside from the first one. And we did slip slide away right there. But everything is working out so far pretty nicely. There's a lot of spread rhythms that I'm intentionally using that are pretty close to task speed, but not exact. That's not necessary, but it's it looks cool. Ooh. Almost lost some time there. Waited a little bit longer just to be safe. We're getting to the first spider lair, which is the start of what I consider collectathon levels. In order to spawn the baby frogs, we have to collect all the gems here. And to do that, we are going to save some time by respawning at the beginning after hopping into the abyss. Take a bit of a slightly faster tech to get to this area, and that's area number 1. I'm going to go for the easier route here. I had my first death. I was expecting that to happen in World 1, but we kind of got spared from that wrath for a little bit. So my cycles are going to be off, but fortunately, I don't have to really worry about them for the duration of this run. What I do have to worry about is not misinputting. And so far, we're doing all right with that. Okay, that was a difficult one. And you have to hit it on near triplet rhythm, if not a 16th note. A lot of the optimal rhythm spread for this game is in triplets. I'm gonna go for the safe method, just kind of right around the edge. Okay, that micro hop did work as planned. It's good. That level can be really troubling in both categories. One thing you'll notice is that it takes a lot of concentration to play this category. I can only do so much when you have these particular tiles out here. Some of it is memorization, but also part of it's just like making sure you have some adjustments that you can make when you are making moves on the fly. Speaking of things to do on the fly, that strat right there is pretty fast. It's I call it the reverse conveyor belt. It's where you go in the opposite direction that's intended. You purposely go into the abyss just to get to this area here a little bit earlier, and here we go. Still pretty good so far. We're gonna see if the fish cooperates. Looks like it will be, and that's one of the first major skips. Well, kind of skips. We're taking advantage of really trivializing these courses heavily, and if there's any place to do it, it's gonna be the ice caves. Speaking of which, here's another one. These are all practically task strats with just a little bit of slowdown, and they're relatively easy to pull off. What's not easy to pull off is this version of what I like to call YOLO 3. The reason we call it YOLO 3 is there's just a lot of places where you can just like suddenly die. There is one element of this game which is difficult to predict. It is the fish. They can just kind of steal your run at the last second. Today they were very cooperative. Alright. Kobe! Please? Ah! That's unfortunate. You hate to see it happen, but, you know, sometimes you don't always get very lucky with them. That strat looks really cool if you hit it. Otherwise, you just kind of have to go the normal way. We ended up having to go the regular way, and that's not fun. That's all right. That's not bad. Not gonna worry too much about it. We have a backup Kobe. Kobe? Okay, that was closer than it looked. That's not always a guarantee, and I did not have to micro-step either, which is good. Okay, that level looks really difficult, but it's extremely rehearsed and very easy to just kind of get that same pattern every time. It's a very safe marathon strat, and world record strat no less too. There is a wave fast pattern that the task does. It requires a 16th note rhythm spread. I don't have any capability of that kind for more than 10 seconds. Oh, I game overed. Okay, so we did lose some time. Not looking carefully at my life. One of the rare cases of me forgetting about my life management, and it came back to bite me. That does happen sometimes. That was me not being careful and just not being observant. It happens to the best of us. Last time I had a game over in a marathon run was at Midwest Speedfest, and that was because the fish were being extremely uncooperative on that particular day. Today they were being completely cooperative. Today it was just because I ended up taking some risks that didn't fully pay off, and I gotta be kind of careful to not let the game slide away from me too much, so... this level, now that I missed the rehearsed patterns, is really a bad time, so... You get to see both of, like, when it goes really well for me, and when it goes anything but. It's the duality of Frogger, if I do put it so eloquently. I don't have too much to say other than I have to kind of concentrate now. That run's on the line. I'll see if I can make some minor adjustments here. Ooh, got caught at the edge. That is not great. We may end up having to go through another game over. Very possibly. I'm going to say that it probably won't happen, but I should not get too antsy from here on forward. I just realized now I am not going to be able to do the Death Warp, so we're going to have to go through this the old-fashioned way. I've done it before. I did it for any percent Deathless. I can do it for this run. We will have to predict what things are coming up here. It's not fun to have to navigate from down. I like to kind of just like be able to predict the way that these work. We are going to have to do some reads for this one. Will it work out for me? That's the question. Okay. So far, we're doing alright. Alright. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And, alright. With barring any unusual errors, we should be safe here. Yes, we are. Despite some rather unusual miscues, I should be alright from here on forward. We are now in the lava pits. That is what they call them. I wish I had something more to say. I did have to take it a little bit easier than usual, just due to being on 1 life, and already having expended a game over, so it'd be good to not do that a second time. Cut it unbelievably close there. We are going to have to kind of be mindful of everything that is going on at the moment. Let's see if I can pull this off here. Yes, we will. So long as I'm able to pick up 10,000 points, we'll get an extra life. So, hopefully that'll happen. I could pick up that one, but I kind of want to make sure that I play it just a little bit safe here. I could go for a little extra, but I'm going to decide not to at the moment. Just going to carefully grab that, just in case I have anything go severely wrong here. We got our 1-up right there and then. So we're going to have to skip some fast strats here. No problem whatsoever. This level is very difficult. Going for fast strats. Right now I am making it look easier, but it's not easy. It's not necessarily free. That level is very precise on a faster level, but even then, the moving logs you can get desynced, and while it's easier to get a firm planting, hitboxes in this game don't necessarily give you the guarantee that you're going to land safely on a texture. Sometimes you can land halfway on what looks like you're on halfway on, like, safe enough, and then the game will just say, okay, you're dead, you know? And then other times the game will see, it looks like you're dead, and the game says, you're still living. Okay, so this second half of this level looks very satisfying if I can hit it the first time. This used to be one of the very challenging levels. very satisfying to hit every time. That one is particularly very cool. Another collectathon. This one can be a little bit tense. We are not going to have much margin for error. We only have 1 life to lose. And if we lose it here, we're going to have some problems. So we're going to have to hope for perfection on this one. Lots of hopping around in triplet rounds fashion. Might have to go for safe patterns. Yeah, we're going to go safe. Okay, so we're down to 1 life. Have to just kind of play it safe going into the end of this one to make sure that we complete this world. And we most certainly did it. There we go. That one's free. Why not go for it? It's very easy. At the end of a World Record Speedrun, or just a marathon run in general, this world, while it is one of the easier late game worlds, is still one of the more nerve-wracking worlds to play through. It's very easy to make just small mistakes that can really collapse your run inward. And that's true for pretty much every level on here. It's very possible that I could have some small errors. It's not going to happen on this level. If it's going to happen anywhere, it's going to be on either the second to last level or the last level, which both are coming up right now. This is a very short run, very easy to go through with a lot of mistakes. Error is very normal in this game, and you got to see good examples of it. Ice Skate seems to be like a level where a lot can go terribly wrong. That life is going to help to allow me a bit more room for error, but not much. We'll see if I can get this on the first try. Not gonna get it this time. We're gonna have to just play it easy and hope for the best. I cannot go too hard in the paint for this last one. Even though I'm gonna immediately collectible 1-up. I do not want to make things worse than they already are. Gonna kind of just go back a little bit. Should be able to hop on this one, and second try is the charm. Did have to take it a little bit easier going into the end. And we got one last level right here. Went for a very interesting cycle. No matter what happens from here on forward, game overs, while they are consequential, it's really only going to affect how much time I lose for the remainder of this this run, which is this level right here. And it's especially consequential if I lose it going into the reverse of this. So I've already, gotten about 30 seconds into this level. There's a lot of reverse strats I go for, like this reverse acquisition right here. And then we have some pretty serious reverse that we have to go for here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Ooh, generally that pattern that I went for... Oh, and I game overed. Okay, that's the second one. Thankfully, I did have a checkpoint right there. No issue. The game overs are pretty normal in a marathon run. If there isn't a game over, you can consider it to be a very good marathon run. I'll just say that. We have a lot more room to kind of just, Ooh, okay. Now we don't have as much room for error. So I'm going to have to just go through this the normal way. I will show off the spread rhythm just to be sure. Again, like I said before, it's usually 7 hops is good enough. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Oh, it's 8. My bad. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay. That's where I messed up. It's 8 most of the time, and then it's 7 and or 6 on the other ones. And now I have no room for error yet again, and I could game over for a third time. This category is brutal. Frogger is a very brutal game. Okay. Alright, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Just making sure I played it safe. And we're going to make it through without a third game over. Time. 8:02. 18:02. With the amount of game overs that I hit there and just kind of being rusty, it was decent. Frogger's a difficult game, and I got to show off the first world pretty darn well. The second world was good too. You got to same with the fourth world. It was just a lot of what I come to expect, which is, you know, error is a very normal thing in the last world, especially when you're under pressure, and the same tends to be true surprisingly for the ice caves. That one is a little bit less out of your control, just thanks to, you know, fish RNG. Fish RNG can be bad. In my case, it was just me making some small mistakes here and there, and with practice, it can be a lot cleaner. But for what it's worth, I got to show off some cool strats and a pretty cool run. So, yeah. Frogger 2 for the Game Boy Color. Alright, one more run just to kind of show off how this works. So, again, like I said before people tuned in, you know, Frogger 2 for the Game Boy Color, everything kind of just comes at you really quickly. You know, there's going to be a million things I'm going to have to explain at once. The first level, you're going to see something really weird. If you don't blink your eyes, you're just going to be kind of like, what is going on? What's the game doing? And I'll do my best to explain why it does this weird thing that it does for very particular sets of tiles, specifically on 1, 2, and 1, 3. So those are levels 1 and 3. You'll get to see fairly quickly why the 80% category is as fun and as high stakes as it is. And so yeah, that being said, we'll get this show on the road. This is going to be my last 80% run that I go through the whole way tonight. Get that started in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and go. So, did you know that Frogger can walk on water? But only certain parts of water. So that was one of them. And the reason the game has, like, you know, only so many collision tiles that it can detect, and it's kind of just like little, you know, odd. So like the game says, hey, you know, there's 15 of these that I can, you know, put out there, and that works pretty well. But you know, unfortunately for the designers, it gets to the point where sometimes you can just get to certain tiles where the game is like giving up. And that's another example. Got the backup there too, actually. And just, you know, what I pulled off there, in a level I like to call slip sliding away. In addition to that level, this introduces a pretty important, you know, mechanic in this game, which is, you know, in-game rhythm, you know, in-game rhythmic movement. And you kind of got to see two examples right there, you know, one after another. Oh, wow, what luck there. I just got so lucky. Wow. Okay, so I didn't get the chance to explain it very well, but the game can process like 16th notes to the backdrop of this, but it is so fast that a human being would generally miss about half those inputs. So what you're seeing here is kind of a compromise, where I go for, you know, triplets. We're done with World 1, of course. And so, like, the triplets represents, you know, a bit of a compromise, where it's not necessarily going full-blown speed, but it's generally enough for me to hit a lot of these, you know, movement near task strats. one of the shadow tiles. There's 3 levels with it, and that's the first one cleared. We got a bit of some challenging movement here in small bursts. Got the first part. Yeah, that wall right there can very easily kill you off. But now we got a second round of shadow tiles. I like to also call them Simon Says. And since the boulder is kind of timed where it is, I prefer to, you know, kind of just move alongside it and then make my way in. I didn't have to go for a micro adjustment there. Fortunately, I was far enough to the left where I could just kind of roll with it. And the final part of Simon Says, there's no checkpoints here. And that's it for Simon Says. And we're getting to a fairly challenging strat known as the reverse conveyor belt, and you'll see why it's called as such. You'll see very soon, coming up in 3 seconds. And I went a little too fast for it. Oh, I got the backup. That's good too. We like hitting backup strats here. Unfortunately, because of how fast I moved, you know, we're gonna have to kind of just improvise this next part. And that's the end of World 2. Slight mistakes, but that's fine. Alright, here's where fish RNG begins. Fortunately, we got really good fish RNG. We could get a really quick entrance through. Oh, bad fish RNG there. So, yeah. What you're seeing can be manipped, much like the turtle cycles. And this set of levels on the ice caves, just kind of like really quick one after the next. It's very high level, and the world record strats are very consistent, and also very satisfying. And then there's this level. This is YOLO 3. Because it's the 3rd level of the 3rd world in the game. And, ooh, that's unfortunate. So, again, YOLO 3 bites hard with a vengeance. I'm actually going to purposely go for a 1-up there, just in case things get dicey here. Taking it a little bit easier knowing that the fish did manage to catch me off guard that time. These are the most dangerous parts, those last 2 tiles there. Alright, everybody. Kobe! Okay, fairly good RNG there. And get ready, folks, for Kobe Part 2. Kobe Part 2, and that one's pretty safe. Good fish RNG too. And down, this next level looks kind of terrifying, but I will promise you it's relatively straightforward. That last crossing right there before the checkpoint looks terrifying, but it's very, you know, very easy. And all those hops can be pretty easily orchestrated. But for me, I was unable to quite ooh, fast pan. Okay, we're gonna just purposefully. Okay, so I actually got caught there, and it just made more sense for me to kind of just go for a strategic game over since I already grabbed the checkpoint after messing up those first few attempts. And you'll see very quickly why I wanted to. This right here is a death warp, and it saves a lot of time. We could have certainly tried to go for it the normal way, but it was just better off to avoid it altogether. And now we're into the fire fields, or the mines. And we got some fast movements coming up after this first set of bees. we're just gonna let that fireball go. It is extremely fast, and Frog Air is barely faster. And it's just, you know, most of the time you'll just end up getting burned to a crisp. So we're just gonna avoid it altogether. Can we make this pattern? Yes, we will. Alright, so that one is pretty fast. You just have to be ready right out of the gate. Will we go for fast 3? Ah, okay. So I was trying to go for a very fast strats in that particular level. If you were able to just enter into that like little crevice that you saw there, you can save about 10 seconds, and it looks so cool, but it is incredibly inconsistent. So we're just gonna go for the normal way the second time around. Again, just kind of play it safe because we're coming up on one of the most dangerous levels. That's 4-4. I will go for the first set of precision, but if I get past that, we're gonna go for very safe strats. You'll see why. So I got it. You can see why I don't want to go for that particular setup. Is because it is very easy to just get caught in the movement of the logs if you're just a slight bit off with your reflexes, and you know, the run just kind of gets killed off, you know, and it looks ugly, it looks bad, so we're letting her go. And again, you can see, I mean, why this level is particularly as slow as it is, but we got through it. Certainly a lot better than the last one. This level here has got a fair amount of leeway. You know, time losses here aren't too bad because of the extra little checkpoint here. Very easy. We got a little bit of waiting here. The fireball patterns are extremely difficult to navigate around without dying very frequently. Now we're getting into one of my favorite levels in this whole world. We got to see my least favorite level on 4-4. 4-6 is very satisfying once you get like the high level patterns. And you'll see it coming up right here on this last set of green tiles. Got the backup version of it. That could have ended a lot worse. Still pretty satisfying nonetheless. So this here is kind of a flurry of, you know, just rush sections after rush sections, and then we got this nice little break here. Got some time to think about what we're gonna do next, and then after the spider passes, it's go time. You can kind of see how quickly I have to move. Any mistake is gonna be a loss of around, I don't know, like a good amount of time here. Oh, dang, that's unfortunate too. So we had to wait out the spider. The patterns we got ended up losing us 20, 30 seconds, approximately. Alright. Go time part 2. Can we make it through here just fine? Okay. That pattern is terrible. So terrifying. Okay, so we're just gonna let it go through. This is why we want to be able to make it through the first time. Okay, we just had enough lives to make it through. Gonna play it very safe, and with this, we should be on our way to the final world. Alright, gonna go for a strategic game over. You can see the checkpoint right next to you. It's just such a no-brainer if you're in a race or in a marathon and you don't have any lives left, because it's just not worth the mistakes, especially when, you know, the nerves are on ultra high. We're gonna miss the fast minecart because of where we landed. If our position was tightly hugged to the wall, we had a chance to save 2 seconds. Now, that doesn't seem like a lot, but as soon as we get past, like, you know, where world records are lower than a level 1130, that might mean a lot in the future. Now, you might notice I was taking some particularly modest minecart patterns. No matter how fast you try to go on here, you will always end with the same maximum time. Again, a very straightforward level, easy, so long as your nerves are not, like, you know, pinching against you really badly. This one, the first half is kind of similar to that in the sense of difficulty, aside from these last sets of minecart patterns, which can be intimidating on world record pace, or just trying to finish a run in general. And unfortunately, you got to see me miss them. Very fortunately, I did have, you know, a bit of a quick run on to these floating platform thingies. I don't even know what they are. They are whatever they are. I could not tell you for what they exactly are, but they're a thing and they exist. That's all I can say. They look like spiders, but we've seen spiders in this game already. And enough of those amalgamations. We're on to the last level of the game, and we will definitely want to grab that checkpoint, because things can go seriously wrong if we start playing around in this particular section. So the first half of this is kind of just a rush section. Rush quickly through, you know, use triplet patterns to conquer your way through the first half, and then we get into a challenging second half where you're doing the same thing, but in reverse. So that'll be fun. Now we're going to do a bit of a reverse spider strats. Here we go. And then we wait here, and here's some timing. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Alright. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And we should be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Out of the woods. Time is coming up as I hit the congrats screen. Time. Not bad at all. Even with the major mistakes throughout, I mean, I still put on a pretty respectable show. 14:36. And I'm already starting to feel like I've got a good, you know, sense of pace for any percent. It feels nice to know that, like, you know, with some slight changes, I'm still keeping it respectable. And I think I could, you know, with the marathon strats, I could get as close as like 12, you know, mid-12. So that would be a reasonable goal. I'd still be very happy with, like, I'd be perfectly okay with sub 15. I'd be decently happy with sub 14. I'd be happy with sub 13, and I would be ecstatic if we got anything in that like mid-12 range. So that's it for practice tonight for Midwest Speedfest. I hope you enjoyed the first day. Tomorrow will be a slight deviation. We'll be doing time trials on Tuesday. Oh, hey, that's, I don't like that. I want my ears to switch. I want my ears to switch. I want the ears. Okay, I got all the gems that time too, so we're good. Now I'm gonna have to exercise my other half of the brain with any percent now, so that'll be fun. Here we go. Just gonna give it like sheer world record attempts right now. I'm on a roll. Statistically, it would be ridiculous if I got 2 world records in one day, both on the first attempts for, like, each category. That would be, absolutely absurd. Walking on water. slip sliding away. No, 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 no. How did I do that? I'm built different. What can I say? So far, so good. Alright, we're on pace. Okay, yeah, regular finish this time. That's fine. Oh, what am I doing again? Pretty good, Simon Says. So those were definitely 16th notes you saw right there. I can hit them sometimes. It's not consistent, but I can do it. I almost died there too. And I died there, of all places. The single worst place to get curb stomps. Let's finish it as if it were a marathon. And if I get game over here, we'll just, we'll pretend that it may just happen. Let's play it carefully here. As if it were a marathon, I'm just gonna grab that. It only loses so much time, and frankly, I'm not really thinking about fish RNG at the moment. In fact, that's something I rarely ever think about. Alright, time for a reverse cycle. I've been doing pretty good with these, you know, like I said before. Might actually have underestimated when I said 80% hit rate. It might be more like 90. I think it is like 90 or something. Alright, here we go. Can I do it? Can I do it? Yes. Good fish RNG. We love to see it. Some very satisfying sequences, I'll say. Like I said before, once you learn that each of these, you know, sliding patterns are possible, you are just excited, and it really brings some new life to some of these map designs when you start thinking about it that way. Unfortunately, this is not one of those maps. YOLO 3 any percent is just dumb. If you're going fast enough, sometimes the fish will just catch you off guard and they'll, you know, snipe you before you get the chance to make it through. Before you had a say of any kind. They were kind to me this time. We were good. Kobe! Yes, we got it. We got the Kobe strat. That's Kobe Part 1. Say hello to Kobe Part 2. Kobe Part 2. Yep, we got it. The fish weren't so kind this time, and that's okay. We can deal with it. Much like all gems, this category is kind of intimidating at first. Again, with just some minor movement buffers, that level is really easy. So I got really lucky there, and I only ended up with a half step that didn't, like, end up killing my frog. Each of those, like, conveyor belts have a pretty solid chance of my character, you know, getting dunked on by whatever those, I don't know, spiky death cracks, or I don't know, death lightning. You could not tell me exactly what that is. I just know it's a thing. And that was pretty solid, too. So now we're on to the fire level. And it is challenging, but unlike all gems, it's not just like trying to meet a cycle. And I got a little over my head there, I won't lie. I forgot this is not all gems, this is any percent. So I ended up just kind of like mixing up two level strats with each other, so you got to see the byproduct of my stupidity there. They're just minor blips, you know, where it's like, oh hey, usually I do this on the tunnels. This one is fairly straightforward. I say it's benign, but I, you know, had some close calls on every one of those areas. Did we get the fast cycle? Yes, yes we did. Again, like I said, incredibly difficult on this category, and I made it look like a joke. We still have 0 lives, unfortunately, so if I die here, I just killed off the entire run, so let's, in the interest of the game, play it safe. So we're just gonna kind of let this run through like so. Very straightforward, very safe. Just wait out that fireball pattern and another level complete. So if I can get this right and I don't die here, well, you'll get to see some of the most satisfying patterns, movements that you get to see in the game. Ooh, I saw my light flash before my eyes there. Alright. Very satisfying every time. And because the checkpoint's right there, we're safe. We're safe. We die here, we're not going to lose a terrible amount of time. And honestly, just with the way that we're doing, I wouldn't be surprised if we pick up another life the way we've been performing. So again, like all gems, you get time to think this through. And then when the spider passes, it's go time! And there you go. Got a frog out of that one. And just enough for a perfect cycle. Although we're going to play it safe, just simply because of where we are in the grand scheme of things. And not bad at all. I'm going to purposely do a bit of a creative reset here. Like I said before, you know, you want to have like an appropriate amount of life so things go wrong. And while this last world, the 90% is not too difficult, when you are near the end of a run, the nerves can kind of kick in. We're not going to get the fast cycle. Generally, you just fall into whatever goo is below these cards, and then we're all sad. Oh, hey, uncharacteristic miss on my part. Not the usual mistake that I make here, so I gotta hit backup strats. So far it's going alright. Only bad news about this is that we did miss out on one of these pit crawler cycles. I'm gonna call them pit crawlers because I have honestly no clue what they are. They crawl across the void, and that's what I know. So yeah, we're just gonna roll with it. Frogger's got some weird enemies in here. I know these opponents in these final layers for each of the worlds, I'm assuming those are bats and spiders, but these, I have nothing for them. I got nothing to describe what these are. I consider this to be like the gateway to whether you're gonna finish a run. And we got it. One more level left to go. Made it look very easy. Once you have practiced this game enough times, yeah, it does become fairly easy. So we start, the theme of this level is that we are, having to quickly make our way up here, and then we have to go into the second theme of this level, which is the ultimate reverse conveyor section. It's a lot of ultimate reverse conveyor sections here. And then we have a reverse gem acquisition here. And we just kind of wait out the bats one more. Alright. Alright. Time is going to be when I hit congratulations. And that was a really good practice run, actually. 1304. A very good practice run, actually. If I get that in Marathon, I'm going to be fairly happy. I'd say that was, yeah, pretty good. There were some minor mistakes throughout, and I did mix up a few any percent strats with all gems. One can be forgiven for that happening just because I'm so used to practicing both categories, so. Yeah, that went pretty well. Pretty well. What can I say? If I got that, I'd be pretty happy. The only way I'd say it was Marathon Perfect is that if I got a sub 13 run. That would be honestly in my wheelhouse. I'd say that's about as perfect as I could ask for, but this would still be really good. I'm just gonna quickly check something.